Hello. Okay, in this video we're going to talk about catchers in the first half of the century trying to prove themselves by catching balls dropped from really high places, and we're also going to talk about another first half of the century practice, which was courtesy runners in the major leagues. But first we're going to have a few other tidbits. In Major League history there's actually been 7 major leagues. There's been the National Association, the National League, the Players League, which is also the Brothers League, the Union Association, the American Association, the American League, and the Federal League. In 1924, Brooklyn swept doubleheaders from the Braves on 4 consecutive days. So in 4 consecutive days, from the 1st to the 4th of September, that's right, they won 8 games against the Braves. Here's a case of the olden days looking like the olden days that we picture in our minds. There was a game in Chicago that was attended by National League President John Heidler and Kennesaw Mountain Landis, who was the commissioner of baseball at the time. And there was a play at second base where Earl Adams was called out. Now the fans became irate and they started throwing bottles at the umpires. Because this of course was upsetting to Kennesaw Mountain Landis, who was trying to bring order to everything in baseball. He did what any old man would do. He shook his cane at the fans. The papers reported the next day that his attempt to calm the fans by shaking his cane at them had no effect. Okay, so here's a story about the catchers trying to prove how good they are by catching balls dropped from high feet. Wilbur Robinson, who's a player manager with the Brooklyn Robins in 1924, wanted to prove that how good he could catch, so he got someone to fly a Wright Model B airplane to 525 feet above, so that a baseball could be dropped down and he could make the catch and say, like, what a great catcher he is. Well, a couple people, including one of the team trainers, and as well as Casey Stengel, decided to play a joke on him. So instead of dropping a baseball, they dropped a grapefruit on him. So there's Wilbur Robinson looking up, and all of a sudden as it hits, like, he's not sure what he's getting, he's not sure. It's coming in at a really fast pace. All he knows all of a sudden is this mess that's on his face of red and whatever, and he's dripping. He thought that the baseball had gone through his glove and his hand and had ripped apart his face. So good old practical joke there, Casey Stengel. Thank you for giving us that one. Okay, getting to courtesy runners here. It got me thinking about this because a couple of years ago, or maybe it was even last year, I forget, in an exhibition game preseason, Albert Pujols had gotten on base and Mike Scioscia had replaced him with a pinch runner, a courtesy runner. And he had talked about this with the umpires before the game, and apparently the other team's manager, I forget who they were playing, didn't know about it, so he came up to question it. But because it was exhibition baseball, and they had mentioned beforehand what was going on to the umpires, they didn't really worry about it a whole lot. But before 1950, it was actually relatively common that this would happen in special occasions, like the idea of somebody might have pulled up limp at first base, thought they pulled a muscle, decided to go off for a bit, like for a pinch runner, but found they were fine between innings and they would come back. Now, this runner was usually chosen by the team that was playing against not the team with the runner, of course, the other team, the defensive team. And everything was fine because it was allowed for both teams. On June 14th, 1949 was the last time this had happened. Ken Keltner was already playing third base for the Indians when Lou Boudreau came up a bat, and Joe Gordon had just in the previous at bat had hit a grand slam, so of course the pitcher had to retaliate, plunks Lou Boudreau, who ends up being a bit woozy from it, and so they allow Keltner to go run for him at first base. Keltner ends up coming around to score, but as the teams took the field, both Keltner and Lou Boudreau went back to their regular positions. This, of course, doesn't go on in Major League Baseball anymore, but it's neat thinking that at one point they would allow something like that, just like they do in lob ball, which always seemed to be silly until I started reading that this actually happened in real Major League games. So I guess there's seeds for things that you see in other lines of baseball that actually originated in Major League Baseball. So anyway, thank you for watching the video. We got a previous one and a next one here, hopefully. And like I say, subscribing is always fun. Maybe it's not, but if you want to subscribe, you can do it there or in the weird little thing down below. Anyway, if you like the video, give us a like. We always appreciate that. It always says something nice to us and makes us smile. In the comments below, let us know if you can think of any other interesting cases where people have decided to work their way around rules or try. I just saw the other day that in a Korean baseball game they tried to play a third baseman behind the catcher during an intentional walk, which of course is illegal. You can't have anyone besides the catcher positioned in foul territory, but it was a neat attempt. But if you know of anything that's gotten by or anything like that, please leave that in the comments below, or just chat us about anything else. We love chatting with people. So anyway, thank you for watching your video. Have a good day.